Hello, welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. Pull out of a chair, brew some tea, and get ready to talk about this week's Steam releases with my delightful co-hosts, Rody.
Hey!
And join us today, feeling a bit more two-dimensional than usual, is MerlynTemple.
Hello!
Welcome aboard, everyone. We have a lot of games to talk about, so I guess we just need to get started. But before we do that, we gotta ask, what have you been playing this week? So first of all, Rody, you ready?
Yes.
Ready, Rody.
So I tried to get back into the Room 3 because I really wanted to get all the other endings done. The problem is that when I jump back into it, I obviously had made a mistake in the last playthrough that I was trying to get a different ending in, because I think I just walked through a door that just gets you to the last puzzle, and you're supposed to grab something or do something with the items that you have on you in the room before you go into the last puzzle. Because once you get into the last puzzle, you can't really do anything. So I just played through the last puzzle, and I went back, and of course I forgot which door I had gone back into, which leads you to the last puzzle. So I was like, and I just walked straight into the door. Now that leads you to the last puzzle, and I was just like, oh my god! And the problem is you can't reset it. So you just get so it's like no. So it's like I feel like I kind of feel like I need to distance myself from the last puzzle again, so to go through it. But then if I do that, I'm going to forget which door I went through to not screw myself over. So but yeah, I want to get different endings so I can then leave the Room 3 and play the Room 4, which apparently is really good again. So
yeah, I've heard only good things about it so far.
So yeah, I'm annoyed with myself this week, pretty much. I started this game and finished a game called Tiny Lands, and it was because I just needed something to kind of chill myself out after that fiasco, and it's basically a spot the difference game, but I thought I was gonna be a more relaxing sort of thing, but I just got really annoyed with it because it was just what they'll do is they'll change with certain items, they'll just change the size ever so slightly, and so you keep going scrolling round and round and round, and you're looking inside, is that bigger? Is that smaller? I can't tell because it's so subtle, and it's just like that's not how I want to spend my life. Oh, but I found all the objects, but yeah, it was. I wish it was I wasn't going kind of with the magnifying glass thing, questioning whether things are just slightly smaller or just slightly bigger. That was really annoying.
Yeah, that's not super fair. So would you say you didn't get to release some Steam?
I did because we now finally got our console set up. I finally got to play the Switch game, the exercise game that they have with the Ring Fit.
Ring Fit Adventure?
Ring Fit Adventures.
Oh, yeah, I've heard good things about that game.
So it is supposed to be customizable for you to be able to do whatever, on what exercise you're supposed to do. Because when you come across an enemy, you're supposed to do different exercise moves, and you can select which one you want to do. But not at first. At first, you only have 4 different kinds of exercises you can do. And I can't squat and I can't do lunges because I have short tendons. So if I do something like that, I could snap a tendon or something like that, or just injure myself like pretty badly. So I was like, and the victory pose you have to do a squat and then go into a kind of thing, and it was but it's like, I can't squat. What am I supposed to do? It won't let me skip this bit. Oh my god! So I just had to like bring my knee up, like just one knee. I was like, done. So a lot of it. I mean, as you go on, you can like have different exercises which you can like then pick from, but. I think that's pretty. I think in this case it was pretty bad because of my like certain injuries, or if you have certain injuries, if you can only do like exercises from sitting down or something, I don't think it's like very accommodating, which I was surprised at. I thought they would be a little bit more inclusive. So
yeah, a sort of sit down mode would have been would be really good for that. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. Oh well. So yeah, I'm gonna muddle along with it and keep doing my one legs non-squat. my flamingo stance.
Well, you know what? Knee kicks are a good exercise too. I think that's a substitute that folks, if you can't do squats, knee kicks are pretty good. So
you see, they have to like, because it's measured from where, because you've got your gamepad there, so it's measuring like whether you're holding it. You got to hold it. You got to hold a squat. So I just like holding my leg up. So it goes done. So yeah, it's I'm muddling along by cheating, basically.
Oh, that's wonderful.
What have you guys been playing?
Yeah, Merlin, what have you been up to?
I'm still occasionally playing Teamfight Tactics. That's very rare, though, nowadays. I'm also still playing Beat Saber, like we talked about last time. But the two I really wanted to focus on today, at least this week, were Heavy Rain, which is an old game from, I think it was 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Basically the predecessor to Detroit Become Human, like with Quantic Dreams stuff. Heavy Rain I finished last night for the first time. Was not super fond of the story itself, but I really enjoyed the experience. I kind of like that style of game in general. I'm really a fan of the quick time like events. Like I really like that style. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of like, oh, you just have to react quickly and press the right button. But I think that I like the way you can change the story based on just maybe screwing up one of those things. Like it's kind of, it makes it feel a little bit more real, but at the same time, I'm pretty decent at the quick time stuff, so like I also feel like it's my style of game, so that I can actually like feel good about myself playing. The years of playing, DDR and Beat Saber and like that sort of a game kind of probably helps with that to some extent. That one, so I finished that last night. If I think we're past the point of maybe spoiling the game, but like if you're ever interested in playing it, it's basically about a killer, a serial killer that you play like 4 different characters, and you're trying to figure out who this serial killer is throughout the whole thing. And there's a twist at the end that just didn't make sense to me at all.
I got this for my partner because it was on like the PS4. It's only just come out, but it came out on Steam in June last year. But yeah, he did. I got it for him, and he didn't like it because there are certain annoying mechanics, like you brush your teeth.
The walking mechanic is very weird.
Yeah,
I get caught on doors so many times, or like stuck on things. It's very strange in comparison to Detroit Become Human. They really improved that mechanic. I will say that.
Oh, okay. He just said that there's so many things that just wasted his time, like you brushing your teeth, you had to move the controller to brush your teeth, and it was just like.
There's a lot of weird stuff like that, yeah.
I almost feel like this was like almost a tech demo. Like, what can we do?
Yeah, I kind of feel like this was. I mean, I liked it as an experience, but like I said, Detroit Become Human did everything so much better. It was just they got rid of a lot of the useless stuff that you have to do in Detroit Become Human. They got rid of a lot of the options of of things that really were completely like what does this do? Well, it just leans against a wall. Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
That's like, I mean, I guess to some people that could be kind of cool. Like, oh, I can lean against this wall, or I can sit on this couch, or I can. But it literally just does that. Like, and then it doesn't advance the story whatsoever, or let you find anything. It's just there's a thing there, and you can sit on a chair. Okay. Maybe if I sit on this chair, it will open up another world of possibilities of things for me to explore, but maybe not. Maybe my only option is to stand back up.
Oh my god.
So there was that. But I finished that last night, and like I said, I actually really did enjoy the experience. Although there were some issues with the like little minor issues that I would much rather play Detroit Become Human as a whole. It's just such a cleaner game. The other one I played, I finished earlier this week, was a VR game called Down the Rabbit Hole. I don't know if that's on Steam. It might be. It's in Alice in Wonderland. You might be able to play it outside of VR. I'm not sure. But it's an Alice in Wonderland theme.
Yeah, it is on Steam, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And it's because I got it on the Oculus store. But it's really beautiful and interesting. It's kind of like a find and explore with also some little puzzles here and there. The final puzzle, actually, like, most of the puzzles are fairly easy, like, especially for someone who's used to these types of games. Like, I breezed through it pretty quickly, but the final puzzle actually gave me some pause, trying to figure out all of the things that I needed to do to finish the last one. So I would say there was a little bit of a challenge that I wasn't expecting. The find and explore parts, I still didn't find all of the things. So there is some replay value there too, where I can go back and probably find more things. It's kind of like you're looking in a dollhouse. It is my best way to explain the gameplay. You kind of like in VR, you're like manipulating the dollhouse and like poking around and things, and it's really interesting. I've never played any game like it before. So yeah, as far as a little nifty VR game, I definitely would recommend. It was a fun experience.
It looks really good. It does look really good because it's finding finding good VR games. I think it's quite difficult because sometimes they just come across as tech demos, or there's not like that much gameplay in them, whereas this one looks like really well done.
It's a pretty fully fleshed game, I would say. I think the whole experience took me. It wasn't super long. I think it took me like 3 hours, maybe 4. I think my husband's watching if he can remember, but I don't know. I don't know if he remembers either. It was a decent length of time though that it took me to finish it. For a VR game. I think.
Yeah, a lot of VR games, I think, naturally tend to be sort of, just because people have to usually take them in smaller chunks. One thing, I had the pleasure of working on some their third-person view VR games. I had the pleasure of getting to work on some of them. Like there's one that was just fishing, where you're just sitting and fishing. Which these sorts of third-person view VR games are great because you don't get sick, or at least it takes longer for you to get sick. So it feels a lot more comfortable. Some games do work really well with VR, like there's a squirrel suit game where you're, gliding in a squirrel suit, which
that would be fun.
You do get really nauseous, but it actually feels like the VR enhances the experience, where a lot of games, it's on VR and it's like, well, I feel like this would have been fine as a first-person PC game.
Same with this one. Like this one does feel like you could play it on a PC and be just fine, because the manipulation was all just kind of poking at things. There wasn't a whole lot of actual like picking things up or moving, interacting with the environment itself. But
these sorts of games should really be like, an option for VR, but be available just for without VR. And what I'm seeing here is it does require a VR headset, unfortunately. But it looks great. I'm glad to see VR games have advanced a lot in the last few years, because I remember seeing some of the first Oculus games and like,
they really have. I've been pretty pleased with everything I've seen in VR since I got it in January. January.
Okay. Well, and as for me, I've been playing a lot of games, that because I'm into roguelikes and RPGs, and games like Darkest Dungeon are taking a very long time. Same with Fail Seal. But I did play one of my Humble Bundle games, one of the DRM free games, and it is Before I Forget, which is developed by two developers. It's just a two-person team with voice actors. And it's about a lady with, from what I can tell, I don't want to spoil too much because it's not very long, and so if anyone wants to play it. But basically, you're pretty early on, you kind of realize that you're a lady with some sort of memory problem. And you're trying to piece together what your life was. There seems to be stuff that you remember, and there seems to be moments where your character's more lucid, and then moments where they kind of slip into this thinking they exist in a different time or place. It's pretty neat. The character's also interesting. She's from India, and she does some stuff about, she worked to become a cosmologist, so she's like studies the stars, and it kind of goes back into her childhood, and how her aunt kind of got her introduced to all the different stars. So you learn some cool stuff like Indian cosmology, like the different constellations in India and such, which I thought was kind of neat. I was like, because I like to learn about different cultures and such. So I ended up going on Wikipedia afterwards and looking up a bunch of stuff. So I always love it when a game does that to me. But overall, it wasn't my type of game, and I feel like the ending also had kind of a lack of resolution. But at the same time, it kind of fit with this character that you're playing. She's gonna forget most of what you did, so the story is just kind of an endless loop, and it was really melancholy. But it was pretty. It did a lot of sort of pretty, kind of very sensitive, just touches and hints about her life, her husband, her and other members of her family, and how she's dealing with it. And then you have little hints of just how scary the world can be when you having a condition like this. It's like, wait, who is this person? Why are they in my house? That sort of thing.
I've played this game.
Oh,
as well.
Really? You played it? Okay.
Yeah, I played. So it was another game that was featured at AdventureX, and they had the demo there, and got to speak to the developers, and it was. And again, as you say, it's like it's very beautiful. It's very, very nicely done. But I kind of felt like I didn't have a lot to do in it, I suppose. It was like you kind of just ambling about a bit. So I yeah, it's nice, but not quite my game.
Yeah, no, and calling it a game it's not exactly accurate. This is more of a walking simulator because there's just not. There's point and click, there's pixel hunt, no, not really pixel hunting, but just looking at things and reading stuff and such like that. But there's not really a puzzle to solve, or it's just a very linear narrative. There's a bit of branching depending on what rooms in the house you go to, and how much time you spend in certain rooms. But overall, it's still very much, a walking simulator.
Yeah.
So, but that's now 3 DRM games I've got covered. I think I got a couple dozen more. So I'm just going through. It's like, you know what? I have these games. I'm really like to support the DRM free model. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I try to play all of them. So that is before I forget. So before we get to this week's release list, we have some catch-up to do this week from June 18th through June 25th. And starting off is the lovely title, West of Dead.
Descend into the grime and gritty world of Purgatory in this cover-based shooter which combines the fluidity of twin-stick controls and tactical cover usage. Dodge behind cover as you try to outgun your enemies in the unknown procedurally generated hunting grounds.
If this is a design for twin stick, then I imagine it would feel really good with a controller, but it does not say controllers required, so I suspect that means you're using mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, it says partial controller support, so only partial.
Procedurally generated is interesting. I don't know how many games do that are like the style, but I don't generally play these types of games personally, so.
Well, with this being a roguelike, that's pretty normal for it. It's not with these types of roguelikes, there generally is still like, there's level 1, level 2, level 3, or however many levels this game has. And those are all fit a theme, but like what rooms are there, what events might happen are going to be randomized. And it all kind of relies on how good of the sense of progression is. So this game seems to have a particularly more methodical combat style than that I'm used to for top-down combat. Like there's cover mechanics and there's aiming and shooting and stealth, which is not something I'm really used to, so that's quite intriguing.
It looks quite nice. I do like the sort of like cell shaded kind of style, and that comic book style, and the main character looks a bit like Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. My husband plays a lot of these types of games, so I see a lot of them, but I don't really play them myself.
Yeah, and it also seems to take. I'm trying to remember what that Scottish school of art is, but there's a style where they like to do grays and browns and blues, and then just a little bit of red, and that's kind of what his cloak does. You just have the character with a little bit of red, and that helps it stand out against everything else. Just a little splash of color, a bit like. I'm getting all artsy talk anyhow.
It's really well polished.
Yeah, the aesthetic is really good. I don't generally see that particular aesthetic in many games these days, so I like the original art style for sure.
It's £15.49, and it's currently standing at mostly positive with 327 user reviews at 76%. So that's pretty good. The more recent reviews, it's at 84%.
Well, that's a good sign. And yeah, that is $19.99 USD. With it being a roguelike, I'm not too concerned about the price point, because generally if you're into these types of games, you're going to be probably playing this for at least 20 hours. So, all right. Our next game is Westmark Manor.
What lurks in the darkest corners of the mansion? Westmark Manor is a journey into the occult, a mind-bending survival horror game with a heavy focus on solving puzzles and exploration, inspired by the formidable H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, something in the audio made me shiver. Good job on the audio engineers, because I don't know what caused me to shiver, but something did. But yeah, H.P. Lovecraft. It's I think it's always neat when folks kind of dip into that slimy goo that is the English that slimy goo of English literature called H.P. Lovecraft. That's you keep in the basement. So,
yeah.
It's such a huge subgenre of horror.
Yeah, I would say that this is kind of like more my sort of style of horror. Anything that has to do with puzzles in horror, like, is more my style. I don't generally play too many horror games, though.
Yeah. So like neither do me and two. We not really like horror aficionados, but I do like watching people play them because it's their reaction, and it's kind of funny if they get scared at something. Although sometimes things get a bit too intense for me, and I was like, no, I can't watch anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I do like the look of this, and I do like again. It's like you're solving a puzzle. That's quite nice. I do like that instead of like running away from something or trying to get something into a trap or killing something. That's not so much for me. I do like it when there's puzzles to solve.
I get stressed out when I'm like shooting things in a horror game. I just no, there's too many things.
Yeah, no, completely.
Yeah, I do like the third-person perspective, the sort of isometric perspective is the word I'm looking for. I do like that in that it might even make it a game that's kind of tolerable for a real, like, scaredy cat like me, just, because it kind of removes you a little bit from the situation. That, horror, it's all about drawing you in and then really scaring you. And this one seems, it seems more heavily on the story and the RPG mechanics, which is really attractive.
It's £15.49, and it's standing at mostly positive with 33 users, and it's at 75%.
Yep. That is $14.99 USD, and it is developed by Nodbrim, which is a 2-developer team from Ronneby, Sweden. The 2 devs are Mart Kupski and Kristoffer Lindström.
So how much is it in the US?
$14.99.
Well, it's more expensive in the UK. How rude.
How
rude. It's $15.49.
Oh, that's not properly balanced.
No. No.
Check your exchange rates, please. Coming up next, Interrogation Files, Port Landsend.
Search through the interrogation footage of suspects of a bizarre and horrific crime. Decide who committed the crime and see them get arrested and have their day in court. The latest interactive video experience. This is a bit like Her Story. But
I love Her Story.
Yeah.
When you said that, I just perk up immediately. That game was just something.
Yeah,
amazing to me. I don't know.
So it's like for me. This is like again. It is like ooh. I'm interested. Although
yeah,
I don't feel like the actors are at such high caliber. But I don't mind.
yeah. I don't. That doesn't necessarily bother me.
That's some of the charm sometimes.
Right. Exactly. Oh my god.
Especially if you're playing it with a stream or something.
I'm totally adding this to my wish list.
There is something about these. It sounded like in the sort of like negative about that. Is something about the finding the keywords as well.
It's very much Her Story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very intuitive about what sort of words you're looking for, apparently. So, say, unlike her story, this game desperately wants to be, the videos are arbitrarily gated, and what search terms you use to find the videos are needlessly specific. At least there's a "Find me a new video" button. So,
Yeah, I thought her story actually made this whole transcript of the video was basically what you could search and find. It sounds like that's not the case with this one. Like, there's not going to be like a transcript search essentially to find the videos.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I mean, it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
I think it'd be good to like. This would be good to kind of like play, definitely on a stream, and yeah, and just see what terms your audience can come up with.
Right. Like, what do I search? Yeah, help me search, and try not to like backseat too much to where you're like looking stuff up for me, because I don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think if it's like if it's people like your regulars, you can trust they're not just going to look up stuff. I think pretty good.
They have 4 hours of video, and then you get to watch the arrest and the trial.
Nice.
Interesting.
That's not bad. Like, it's £5.99 as well. So
yeah, $6.99 USD. That is not bad at all. And imagine if there's 4 hours of video, there's probably significantly more time in that of you trying to figure out
to find them. Yeah.
So
yes, that's
a
probably
decent...
at least 6 hours of playtime.
Yeah. And it's standing at positive reviews with 35 users, and it stands at 97% positive.
And this is not developed by one of the developers we know, like Wales Interactive. This is Visual Interactive, which it's their first game on Steam, and I was doing at least some cursory research to find them, but it's hard to Google Visual Interactive and not find hundreds of other things. So you're not very Googleable devs. So, all right. Coming up next, we seem to be on a real mystery kick, because next up is the Innsmouth case.
The Innsmouth case is a text-based adventure inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, and the very first text-based adventure to combine horror and comedy in a fit and proper way.
First, that's a pretty mighty claim. Maybe first you know of.
I'm trying to think. The first text-based, though? Maybe text-based.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do still like that, the fact they've got these nice visuals going on as well, because sometimes like text-based there is like no visuals at all. So this is very nice looking.
They're really going for a more kind of wacky approach for H.P. Lovecraft, which is it's neat. It's everyone does the sort of gray, spooky, realistic look, and they're going for just the more... I'm trying to think of another game that this kind of looks like. It looks like some point-and-click games. It almost looks like the art style for Candy Crush, actually.
You're not wrong. Wow.
No. But yeah, this is by Robot Pumpkin, which is a small studio located in German. Köln, Germany. Köln, I think it's pronounced that.
There's a downloadable demo.
Yeah. And they are from Assemble Entertainment's their publisher, so which makes a ton of games, but Robot Pumpkin Games dev. Yep.
This is £10.49. And it's starting at 77% positive with 27 user reviews. I think this is probably one I would wait for the sale. I am looking at the user reviews and sort of like the times people have put in, and it's there's a few people who've got like 20 hours in, and there's like quite a few people who've got like 4 hours or under that.
Yeah. And later this year, they have another text adventure planned to come out called Road Warden, which there is a free demo available to play now.
That's more RPG.
Yeah. It's more like it's pixel art. It's still described as a text-based RPG. Okay, yeah. So it's not a but it apparently has like mechanics from visual novels, adventure games, and interactive fiction. Very neat. As someone who did play like some text games back in the day, mostly like just flash text games, I think it's cool that it's being approached, especially in such like a professional look, because a lot of times it's just like there's a screen with text. What do you want? And here, adding visuals to it kind of just enhances, like, sometimes you just want to sit down and read a book, and this kind of might enhance that experience a bit. That's nice.
Yeah.
Our final catch-up title is The Almost Gone.
Experience. Sorry.
I was going to say, I've actually played this on the Switch.
Experience the intricate dioramas and connections of your life and the ripples we all make in this award-winning narrative puzzle game about death, loss, and mental health. So you've played this one?
Yeah, I finished it. It was a long time ago. End of last year, maybe October, maybe. I'm not sure. I remember seeing it in the Switch store, and I can't remember if it was on sale or not, but it looked intriguing enough to me to purchase. My kids watched me play it a bit. It's not insanely scary or anything. There are some things that kind of make you jump a little bit, but it's in that jump scare realm, like not really very scary, right? So yeah, they didn't really mind watching me, but yeah, it's a puzzle game, as you can kind of tell from the trailer. Lots of interesting puzzles. I'm not sure that I really understood what was going on in the story. Like it wasn't one of those that was really, really clear about how things fit together or why you were doing the things you were doing, but I enjoyed the puzzle aspects and the whole experience. It was worth the money, I think. I just I don't think there's very much replay value personally.
Yeah, I this is another one I played at Venture X, and I had to agree with you about the sort of like the motivation on why you're doing some of the puzzles, because it's you're just like, as you said, you're just going around and you're just doing these puzzles, so you don't know some of them, you don't know why you're doing them. So it's like nice enough, it's interesting enough to to poke away at those puzzles and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is another genre of diorama games. So there's been quite a few that have come out, and it's I guess christen it the diorama point and click games, I guess, or diorama puzzle games. There seems to be quite a few of it that have come out. All right, that is almost gone. Yeah,
it's $8.99, and it's signing at very positive with 87%. And you have 201 user reviews.
Yep, and that is $9.99 US, and the developer is Happy Volcano, and they are selling the soundtrack. I don't see any new games coming out yet, so
you can play the first chapter for free.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, coming up next is our hidden gems of the week. Yeah, we're up to the full release list, and starting off with Sunday, February 21st, is Super Raft Boat.
The world's been flooded, and all you have is your Super Raft Boat. Can you reach the final island?
So this is like kind of the game Raft, where this is like the pixel art version of that. Pixel art kind of arcadey version of that, I would say.
It's quite
really cute.
Yeah.
It is really cute looking. This is developed by 4 devs, each of whom have worked on a variety of other games. So Jason Gertner worked on Last Slice and Floaty Fighters. Carson Compon of Ontario, Canada, he worked on Stealthscape. Yukon Wainshak worked on is from West Springfield, Massachussetts, and he worked on Turnipboy Commits Tax Evasion. Also working on Turnipboy Commits Tax Evasion was Jennifer Kindle, who also worked on Keenville. So these are all quite prolific devs, and they just kind of got together and made a game.
The Turnipboy Committing Tax Evasion, that's what I'm sort of like keeping an eye on. So wow, I didn't know they worked on this.
Yeah, the title alone is a winner for that game. Turnipboy Commits Tax Evasion. It's just such a, like, it sticks in your head. It's like, oh, I'll remember that name for the rest of my life.
But yeah, so this is so cute, and I do like. There's some really. It looks like very fast paced as well. Yeah, this isn't
much faster paced than Raft.
Yeah,
which I've played. Yeah, I've played decent amount of Raft, but I was basically just the cook on our boat.
Yeah.
I played multiplayer Raft where all I did was cook food.
Oh yeah, Raft is a really long-term type of game.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let me see.
Build and expand your raft to gain an advantage on the creatures of the sea. 4 different oceans to learn and conquer. 3 different characters with unique abilities and weapons. Unlockable alternative weapons and skins for your favorite character. A final boss fight that will scare even the most experienced rafters. Looping for those who dare.
Yep. And this is an action roguelike, and it is free.
Yeah.
So
free.
Yeah, free. So, which I didn't expect.
Yeah.
So I did not expect it to be free. It's published by Shattered Journal Games, which also made Floaty Fighters and Last Slice. So that is Jason Gertner's projects. Okay. Next up on Monday, February 22nd, is Make the Burger.
Sorry, I didn't say the. Sorry, the game stands out very positive at 92%, and it's 57 user reviews.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah. So make the burgers with assorted ingredients, memorize orders, and be quick before time runs out. Make your customers happy by eating delicious hamburgers, but remember, nobody likes to get wrong orders.
Now I'm just getting hungry because I know my husband's making burgers upstairs.
You know what? I have not had a burger in the longest time. That's all I can think about. There's a Whataburger and a McDonald's nearby, and it's like, ooh.
It's making me hungry.
Well,
it looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like this.
I love cooking simulators. I have to say that, like, right flat out. I bought Cooking Simulator bundle last night or 2 nights ago. It was very, very soon, very, very recent that I bought them. I haven't installed them yet, but I love cooking simulators. I love Overcooked. I love, like, the cartoony ones. I don't care. I just love cooking simulators. And my husband constantly tells me, like, why don't you just cook? You could just cook. You don't have to play cooking simulators. He's the one who does the cooking in our house. So I'm like, you know, I don't know. I just like cooking simulators. I can't help it. I can't help what I am.
I do like cooking simulators, but I'm not one like for time management. It depends, because I do like Overcooked, and because that's like you're playing with friends and you're coordinating together, and if you can make it work, that's good. But ones where it's like, you know, with those Facebook games, like we were talking about this last week, those Facebook games where they are a bit exploitative and there's not as much to do,
You have to pay to advance in a lot of those.
Yeah, or you're paying for ingredients, or it's like certain ingredients or something. It's like, I don't like those. And if
those irritate me too.
Yeah, and if you've got something that's like very different but has put in that same sort of that, and just a nice cooking game or restaurant game or something like that, I love those. I love those.
Absolutely.
I don't like being precious. There's this game like Cook Serve Delicious, and it's like I like it, but I also hate it at the same time because it's like it's too much of a stress for me. Like,
so much,
yeah.
It's just like, welcome to your job.
Yeah.
But everything's running faster. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this looks amazing.
And I'm reminding myself I have like hamburger in the fridge, so I'm like, well, I guess I know what I'm gonna be doing with some ground meat. So gonna be making hamburgers. Ooh, and a game. This looks great. It's by Creative Hand, and it is $2.69 USD.
Oh, it's 10% off at £1.88. It's standing at positive with 82% with 17 user reviews.
Yep.
So that's very well priced, given that they're probably aware too of like all of the games that they're competing with in this genre. So yeah, that's probably like if you want a budget friendly game that does that.
Yeah, their game has a particular scope and they matched it to a particular price. So that was really good on them. Tuesday, February 23rd. Next up, Rogue Heroes: Ruins of Tasos.
Rogue Heroes is a 1 to 4 player classic adventure game with modern roguelite elements. Team up with friends to combat procedural dungeons, explore an expansive overworld full of secrets, and take down the Titans to serve the once peaceful land of Tasos.
First of all, the pixel art is really, really cute, and also I am a sucker for these kind of games, so it's already got a win right there for me.
I think a friend of mine is playing this game right now, if I'm not mistaken. Jimmy Navio. I don't know if you've talked to him at all.
I'm not sure.
He's part of Clever Nation as well.
Oh, I'll have to ask him.
So.
Jimmy Navio.
This looks like a lot of fun. It's not the kind of RPG I usually play, but I do like the artistic style of it, and
I do see that it is mixed with 68%, so I am kind of curious. Online multiplayer is awful is like the top review.
It's really buggy as well, which is someone put today. Someone reviewed today that it's extremely buggy, so it's still this one looks like you need to wait for a bit before they patch the bugs out of it.
Yeah, a lot of the folks who are giving positive are specifically pointing out the solo game is okay, but the multiplayer is buggy. That's unfortunate. I really hope that, let me see, they put out a patch number 1 on the 26th. Which did do some bug fixes, so I hope they continue on that.
It's promising that the first patch was 3 days away from release. That's at least somewhat promising. I think that they're going to continue working on the game.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's certainly like they don't. It's not a situation where they don't have hope here. Like if they keep improving it, I'm really looking forward to maybe playing this with I have a group of friends that I play with on Tuesdays. So hopefully we can all have a game together if they improve this. There are only 2 devs for Heliocentric Studios, so it's a 2-dev team. And let me see. Oh, they're published by Team 1 Digital.
Yeah, it says 15.99. So yeah, just maybe want to add to your wish list and wait till they do some more updates on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they already do have. They've got like a class pack that's 100% off right now. I imagine that's probably their idea for future monetization, though, is like additional classes and such, which is what Heroes of Hammerwatch did, which I think worked pretty well for them. Okay. Coming up next, Wednesday, February 24th. A lot of these games have only had, all these days had only have one game each so far. But starting Wednesday, February 24th, we have Dadish. Ugh, I can't speak.
Explore an exciting world, face off with fast food themed foes, and reunite Dadish with his missing children in this challenging platforming adventure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So he's a radish, but he's a dad, so he's Dadish.
He's Dadish. That is adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting Mario vibes, but also the funny things about this is my man cave. This looks like just a regular cave. Like, yeah, probably just a regular cave.
Yeah. There does seem to be a lot of dad jokes, which makes me think the solo dev Thomas K. Young might be telling us something about his, non-developer life.
Yeah, that's adorable.
It's super cute, and so Dadish 1 he also released here. So I think Dadish 1 was on a different platform. So when he released Dadish 2, he brought them both over.
I see. Yeah, they came out just a few days apart. It looks like Dadish was released this 22nd, and then Dadish 2 came out the 24th. That's interesting.
Yeah, Dadish's biggest adventure yet, a challenging retro platformer from the creator of Super Faust and the Dadish. 50 rad levels, tons of rude and sassy baby radishes to find. Sometimes you can ride on a giant talking hamburger. A whole new gang of fast food themed baddies. 5 new bosses, all of whom have personal problems. A whole bunch of screechy possums. The further joys of fatherhood. A cool soundtrack. The dialogue is funny, I guess. I think the graphics are pretty good. Collectible stars, unlockable secrets, follow your dreams.
It is really cute.
I have to recommend this to a friend of mine who likes the platformer type experience, especially with the humor in it. It's right up his alley.
I like how most of the villains are like junk food, and then the hero and his kids are all like healthy radishes.
Yeah.
It's like a nutritional lesson. Thomas K. Young is a developer from Wellington, New Zealand, and have they developed? So they've developed Dadish 1 and Dadish 2, and apparently some other games, but they're not on Steam. So, it looks fantastic, and it's only $3.99.
Yeah, it's $2.89 here. Fortunately, there's not enough user reviews to give it a score, but yeah, I just think this is so cute. And although I'm not someone who's a platformer fan, this looks well polished, and yeah, but I do like the fact that his leaves are used to walk over certain ceilings. So it's like, yeah, that's clever, very clever.
Very clever, yeah. And he basically took most of the mechanics from the first game, and he added additional mechanics in Dadish 2. So, just like a proper Mario 2 did, it moved things along. So that is very cool. Up next, Thursday, February 25th, we have Room to Grow.
Tackle thorny problems in this plant-pushing puzzle game. Learn to maneuver like a cactus as you grow your way back to the desert. When I first saw this, I thought this was like a snake game.
Yeah, it looks like Snake to me.
And then, watching it now, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. And it's quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little like it is a little odd looking, but it's a cute idea. Really clever. You kind of have to think about how am I going to be able to move my body doing this and not get in the way? It's really fascinating.
Lots of puzzle solving, too. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, definitely not just Snake.
Nope. It takes that concept, and the nice thing, unlike Snake, which is always moving, and you basically have to think on this one, you get to stop and go like, okay, what do I want to do next? So it's more of a relaxed type puzzle game, which I'm always down for.
Yeah.
Over 100 handcrafted unique puzzles. Discover unexpected mechanics that will twist your mind differently to any other puzzle game. Play the way you want. Undo and restart as often as you like. Skip puzzles if you want to. No timer, no action elements, no move counter. This game is all about the satisfaction of solving puzzles. Featuring a delightful original soundtrack by Romain Rope. This game also includes remappable controls, a high contrast mode for game key elements, and an adjustable input repeat delay.
Yep. And the developer is Mishka Kamener, and he is based out of Melbourne, Australia.
It's 20% off right now at £5.75, and it's standing at 100% positive with 22 user reviews.
Yeah. $7.99 USD, so looks like a deal. Next up, Aery, A Journey Beyond Time, if it will go there.
In Aery, A Journey Beyond Time, you are in the role of a flying godlike creature which observes the world and their inhabitants while they grow and evolve through time. Are you ready to explore time itself?
So one of the tags on this is basically walking simulator. So there's some gameplay here, but it's basically you're just flying around, seeing things change. So I don't imagine this would have too much replay value except finding secrets.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not unreasonably priced either. It's $7.99. So
it is very very nice looking and everything, and I think I think with walking sims, it's like there has to be something going on to make it more than you're just walking along kind of thing. It's there's a story of evolving or so I would like to know. It says one of the tags is emotional. Emotional. So yeah, I would like to know what the story of it all is, I suppose.
It's really pretty. I mean, it looks relaxing if you're just looking for something to kind of zone out and just play while you're just wanting something pretty to look at while you're like a meditation type game. Very much.
Yes, has experienced the feeling of flying with fluid and responsive flight controls. Literally fly through history and the different stages of human development. Follow an interesting story through time. See the world with the eyes of a godlike creature. Enjoy the intuitive and relaxing gameplay. Experience the speed of a bird without enemies or other threats. Explore 12 vast landscapes with a different theme, style and mood. Collect the crystals to unlock the next area. Immerse into the atmosphere with a vibrant, minimalistic yet sometimes even surreal art style. Enjoy the beautiful bright colours with interesting and different colour themes in every area. Discover hidden areas and many little surprises on your way. Yeah, it's 20% off right now at £5.75, and it's standing at 100% positive with 22 users.
And looking at the reviews, I'm seeing a range between 2 and 6 hours, pretty much. And then there's some crazy person with 43 hours. But 1 hour at the time of when they reviewed it. So yeah, maybe it's just it looks like it would be really relaxing and just like a nice Sunday afternoon game when you're too tired for anything else. This looks really like it could be really enjoyable. And yeah, it's standing at 100% positive though, so that's good.
Yeah.
Coming at next, Friday, February 26th, is Koi Farm.
Okay, the blurb just says a koi breeding game. So let me have a look about this game section.
I watched a YouTuber review this though, so I've got a bit more information once you're finished.
Okay.
No.
Koi Farm is a game about playing with koi ponds. Exploit an infinite number of procedurally generated koi patterns by crossbreeding your fish, and discover new mutations as you go along. Create beautiful koi through selective breeding. Combine fish with interesting patterns and colours to refine them. Store the best koi as collectible trading cards, and let the koi book guide you towards new undiscovered mutations.
So yeah, there's a lot of sort of programming around genetics and just the process of isolating different groups and just like seeing what you can get to happen. It's very much a simulation game, and it's just it's also super relaxing. There's good Foley, there's good like rain noise or just wind noise, just ambient sound as you're doing it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's £2.09, and it's currently standing at 100% positive with 31 user reviews. I think it's very nice. It looks very nice. Although one of the criticisms says that you only have like 2 ponds for now. So it would be nice.
It's not a very big game.
Yeah.
It's cute. I like the I like the whole animal, anything with animals in it generally makes like, no matter what they are, like if I'm breeding an animal and just trying to see what I can make. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Alchemy in a way. I don't know if you guys remember that game, but that was like a little phone game where you just mix things together and see what you can make. I feel like that has some of that. This has some of that aspect of, where you're just trying to come up with cool and interesting looking fish.
I like that. Like any sort of like monster breeding kind of game, or it's like a bit like Slime Ranch as well when you combine the 2 slimes together or something. I love stuff like that. But it just wish it was a little bit more expansive and with the ponds that you have. I think that would be nice. You had different landscapes as well.
Yeah, only having 2 ponds is very limiting.
Yeah.
This looks like it was developed by when I was looking it up, I thought it was a solo dev, but it seems there's 2 credits here. There's 3 X-Blast as well, so maybe it's 2 people. But yeah, Job Tal is based out of Groningen, the Netherlands, and yeah, they made a really pretty Zen game. Coming up next is, continuing with the simulation theme, is Hero Among Us.
Hero Among Us is a strategy manager game where you create your own superhero. Define where in the globe she will appear, and manage how the world reacts to your actions and decisions.
So this is very much let me see, get past the trailer here. It's like a board game basically. It's and how it's laid out before you. There's quite a variety of what you can do with the characters, so a lot of different events and customization.
Ooh. Wow. Let's see. The archetypes. There's vigilante. Inspire people to bring justice with their own hands. You'll be able to summon amateur vigilantes to help you for a limited time. Speedster. For a limited time, no one can keep up with your speed. Everything around you freezes as you can destroy crises and battle villains without taking any damage. Genius. A temporary drone is created on the hero's current country, taking all the damage dealt by the crisis and villains. And more to come. They've got more hero archetypes.
The board game concept is interesting. I don't see too many video games capitalizing on like a board game scenario.
Mm.
But I like it because, like, in today's pandemic world too, it's hard to even when you don't have a pandemic. I mean, sometimes it's hard to get people geographically together in the same space to play a board game, even if you want to. So having the option to do that, it does have multiplayer, right? Like
no, this is just a single player.
It's a single player.
Yep, single player board game.
That's missed a trick there, I think, because this would be good multiplayer.
I think they might have a missed opportunity there. If they expand their game in the future. But yeah, I have played the solo board games where you're playing against the game itself, and those are kind of interesting too. This at least like takes away all of the setup for those.
Yeah, you know what? Also, I just thought about this, and I should have mentioned this in the gameplay section. I did play some board games so my laundry's out, so I had to go to a friend's house to do my laundry, and being around people in person, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And so we played this fantastic game called Splendor, and I just realized it is on Steam. And nice. This is like a really simple economics game. So you basically pick up 3 chips and use those chips to buy cards, and then those cards basically become like the lands in Magic. So you now always have that much gem to pay. And it's just like whoever gets up to 15 points wins. It takes under 30 minutes to win. And I just realized, it's on Steam for $9.99.
Nice.
So this is a game I really want to play and introduce to my some of my online friends. So I just realized it's like, oh yeah, I played online. I played PC. I played some board games. So those should count.
Yes, it's like the thing to play, to have a board game that you can all you can play with other people. I think they definitely should have done this with this game.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I love board games. I just don't get an opportunity to play them because you don't get people over very often to play board games. And even when you do you really want to like play a board game when you have somebody right in front of you? Like not always.
Not always, no.
Yeah.
There's always can be that kind of awkward like transitions, like how do we get to playing board games from this point?
Like unless you plan ahead that's what you're going to do. You're coming over to play a board game. Like you just usually get caught up in conversation with somebody you haven't seen in a while, and it's hard to find a good group to play board games with, in my experience.
Yeah, completely. This is 10% off right now at £6.47. There's only 2 user reviews. So.
Yep. The studio behind Here Among Us is Firehorse Games, and they are based out of São Paulo, Brazil, and they were founded in 2012. And this is their first game on Steam, but they have other games that have come out on other platforms. So, coming up next, Tiny Room Stories, Town Mystery, another diorama game.
Everybody are missing in a town. I think everybody is missing in a town. Find the answers of Town Mystery in a point-and-click adventure game with the escape room. I've played this, but it was on it's on mobile. This is a mobile port, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the part that they gave you like part of the story for free, and the rest of it you sort of like had to pay for. But the bit that you got for free was like quite extensive. So yeah, there was. I only played the free bit because I'm cheap. But yeah, it's So you're a private detective. After receiving a letter from your father asking for help, you go to the small town of Redcliffe. The city is completely empty. Where have all the inhabitants gone? What happened to your father? This is what you have to find out. Explore the city, find clues, solve puzzles, open locks to advance your investigation. The game is a mixture of escape room and classic quests. I quite liked it. There isn't a lot of like sort of dialogue bits in it. It's just like you're just playing a lot of going through the puzzles, and you're probably trying to. Most of the time, it's like you're trying to unlock a door or something, and the puzzles are quite nice. They're the kind of puzzles that sort of are at the tip of your tongue, rather than the game is purposely trying to just mess with you. There is like definitely some challenge in there as well. And I found the story, what it was leading up to, like quite good. And
so it sounds kind of similar to the Almost Gone. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Almost Gone, but like it sounds like the story's better.
Yeah. I would say this, because there's like this has a very like straightforward story, and it's like so, and why you're doing these puzzles and stuff. So it's pretty good.
It has a really 1970s America feel, which is neat because the developers are Chiari Games, which are based out of Krasnoyarsk, Russia, and it's a 2-dev studio. And I was just looking at it, it's like, yeah, they're very much catching the 1970s US aesthetic for just locations and houses and stuff. So that's a very interesting direction for them.
It's I would say maybe it's priced a little bit more than I probably would advise anyone to pay for it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I definitely had fun with what I played, and depending on how good you are at puzzles, you're looking at like 4 to 6 hours of gameplay. So there's quite a bit to go on, but it's not like there's dialogue trees and there's like it's not really like that in depth. Basically, you are like just doing puzzles pretty much. So
that is $8.99 USD, and so far it's 100% positive.
Yeah, with 10 user reviews.
Okay, next up, RetroMania Wrestling.
Oh, load. There we go. RetroMania Wrestling is the official sequel to a classic arcade game, WrestleFest, that was released in 1991 by Technos in Japan.
I wonder how they got rights to that if it's the official official sequel. They did get the likenesses of a bunch of real wrestlers, though, for this game, so they got that license and such.
Nice. It reminds me of like the WrestleMania game that me and my brother played when we were like kids, but the pixel art is better. Like,
they're talking about this being a classic arcade game. Like, I didn't play a lot of arcade games when I was younger, but I know there were a lot of them that were only arcade. Like, you could they weren't ported to any console at the time, or PC or anything, and so I didn't go play a lot of those, but I'm guessing that's what this was, because I don't remember this game at all from back then.
Yeah, there were quite a few sort of wrestler. There were quite a few wrestling games, WWE kind of thing. Yeah. There was a bit of a craze during the 90s. And I
definitely remember some of them, but not this one specifically. Yeah, I
think only a couple of them ever made it to home console. So it's cool. They definitely captured the old aesthetic, but with modern techniques. Just there's a lot more you can do with pixel art nowadays. So it's a cool thing to see.
Yeah, it says RetroMania Wrestling will be a pick-up-and-play arcade wrestling game with beautiful 2D sprites, incredible backgrounds, and fast-paced arcade-style gameplay. 16 unique, distinct playable wrestlers at launch, adding more post-launch via DLC, over 15 arenas, 3 distinct game modes, story mode, £10 of gold, and Retro Rumble, 2 to 8 player local multiplayer, several match types, including one-on-one matches, tag team matches, 6-man tag, 8-man tag, cages matches, and 3 different cage styles and battle royale. Ring entrances with entrance music. Yes, because of course you have to have that. Strategic gameplay that is easy to pick up and play. Beautiful 2D pixel art, animated sprites with over 700 frames of animation and animated backgrounds. Crowd chants that react to your action on screen. Commentary by Ian Riccoboni and Colt Cabana. I'm surprised there's not just like a single player mode on here. Oh no, it does say single player, but it says here it's 2 to 8 player. Oh, yeah, that's just the local multiplayer.
Oh yeah, that's just for local multiplayer. I think there is single player besides that. Yeah.
I'm like jamming out to the music over here. It's like
yeah, that's pretty good. One of them is the blue meanie. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm not really someone. This has never really been my space, but it's cool to see. It's cool to see that this market being retouched up, and it's just. I've always found one thing I love from wrestling is just the memes. It's just all the memes. It's all the funny scenes. Yeah. I see those completely out of context, and they're great. They're fantastic. So really, really cool that they're getting a game that's basically dedicated to a not so serious look at it, more arcadey and fun.
This looks right up Shinchimak's alley. So yeah, it is. If you're interested, it's 15% off right now at £20.22, and it's standing at mostly positive with 66 user reviews, and it's at 77%.
Yep, that is $25.49 USD. So it's probably the most expensive title we've talked about today. But they did get. It seems they did get some licensing and and some big names involved. So not
definitely
surprised.
Impact the price. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So next up, Saturday, February 27th, our final game of the week is Urtuk: The Desolation.
Urtuk is an open-world tactical turn-based RPG in a low fantasy setting. Guide your band of adventurers through the ruins of an ancient world. Recruit new followers, loot the corpses of your fallen foes, and do your best to survive in this harsh and unforgiving realm.
Mm-hmm. Getting some real Darkest Dungeon vibes here, but it's on a hex grid, so it would be mechanically quite different. But yeah, this one seems really cool. I don't know if I'm gonna jump on it because the grotesque art isn't exactly my favorite kind. It's just like way out there grotesque. It's cool. I like the art. So the artist developer David Kaleta, who's from Slovakia by the way, has done a fantastic work on making a consistent art style. It's just not an art style I personally like, but the consistency, the easy to read what's going on, if it's a bit overwhelmingly brown.
Mm-hmm. It's very brown.
Very brown. But
the style of game is not really my cup of tea either. Mm-hmm. Although it does remind me a tad of. I'm trying to think of the name of the game. It was an older game from the late 90s, I want to say. It had many sequels, and it's escaping me.
Oh, it's a Japanese game?
I don't know, actually. Heroes of Might and Magic.
Heroes of Might and Magic. Oh, okay. All right, that's not the one I was thinking of. All right, but yeah, I can see the similarity.
I'm not sure how similar it is, like when you really get down to the nitty gritty of it, because I feel like that was always like you kind of got into this little battle space that was hex, not like the entire thing was a hex battlefield. But
Mhm.
It's interesting.
Despite my own opinions, though, it is doing really well. It is 94% positive with 944 reviews. How on earth did he get that many reviews so soon? This guy must be a known dev.
Well, it's been in early access.
Early access. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Early access would help.
Wow.
Yeah, so probably like 65. The recent reviews are 65 people, and so it's standing at 89%.
Yeah, and I'm seeing reviews with 300 hours. I don't know if I'm ready to jump into another one of these games. It's a good style. It's a good design. This is design-wise is what I'm into. It's just aesthetic. I'm not certain I would want to look at a game like this for 300 hours. But again, fantastic aesthetic work. It's just not my style.
It's 10% off right now at £14.39.
Yeah, $17.99, which is a steal for 300 hours if you're going to play it that long. So, yeah. Wrapping up, we gotta ask, what was your game of the week? So, what was your best of the week? Rody, have you thought of who your very best is?
Yes. Okay. So on the catch-up list, I'm going to go one catch-up list and one in more recent list. I would say the catch-up list. I would say Interrogation Files, Port Landsend, because it's like, even if the acting is not as crisp as her story, I'm still very curious, and even the poor acting might be a bonus actually. So yeah, I'm very curious, and it's a pretty good price for $5.99. It's a very good price. And let's see for the recent one. I would say, so I was either going to go with Make the Burger or Tiny Room Stories. Because I already played Tiny Room Stories. It's like a nice puzzler, and it's the puzzles are great, are very nice. The look of it is quite nice. But maybe Make the Burger. I want to get into that a bit more, and wondering how much of a stress fest it is. But I don't know.
Oh, I sure do want burgers, though.
That sounds so good.
So good. It does sound really good.
Looking forward to going upstairs and eating dinner.
Indeed.
No. For me, I can tell, Rody, you and I have very similar tastes in games, because I was totally going with Interrogation Files before you even said anything. That game, because of just the similarities to her story, just make me very excited. I haven't seen another game like that ever. So just to have a singular game added to this genre of like searching through a computer of files game, it's exciting to me. I don't same as you, I don't really care if it's badly written. I want to play it. Other than that, I did, and I this is also from the catch-up list, but I did add the Innsmouth case to my wish list. Other than that, though, from like the recent ones, I would probably say that the most standout one was maybe Room to Grow for me. Make the Burger is probably up there too. Just because there's so many in that genre, I kind of tend to look at games that make me more curious. The Room to Grow does look like a game that I would really enjoy from the standpoint of trying to solve these puzzles and not feel stressed about it. With having no time limit and having that not be a factor, that makes me more intrigued, honestly, not less, which is kind of,
Yeah, no, totally understand that, because it's I feel, especially when I play like puzzle games, I want to be relaxed and not stressed out about stuff.
Yeah.
Just want to take my time and think it through, and so I like point and click games, I think, because I can take my time and just work on a puzzle.
Yeah.
And as for me, I think from the Catchup, normally West 4 Dead would have been my pick, but having seen a lot of the gameplay and such, I just don't think it's my style. And so I had to go 3 for 3 and say Interrogation Files Port Landsend is the most interesting. It seems really well made. I like how like the folks all look like the townsfolk from my hometown. And just like
regular people, actually.
Just regular people. It's really charming, and I am really curious about the story. So I'll either play this or watch someone else stream it. And from this week, though, I would have to say Dadish 1 and 2 are the two games I'm most interested in. It's just super, super cute. I like platformers, and this dev clearly has chops. So, yep. So, yeah, Dadish. Dadish is the winner for me. All right, and of course, chat, let us know what your favorite games are. And in the meantime, Rody, let us know what the internet can do to find you and what you're up to.
I've been you mostly find me on Dewey's weekly podcast, really. I will be going back to streaming eventually, but when that happens, you'll find me on twitch.tv/RetroMania.
All right. And MerlynTemple, what about you?
Lately, I have not been streaming quite as often, but I do still have my Saturday Among Us game. Actually, I forgot to mention that when we were talking about what we played this week. But I always play a Saturday 2 p.m. Eastern Time proximity chat Among Us game on my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/MerlynTemple. That's MERLYN. And we have a lot of fun every week. It may be a bit less this month. We might have to take some time off this month, but I will be trying to do that mostly and getting back to adventure game point and click streaming hopefully in April.
Yay! And Among Us is so fun with a group. I'm gonna have to try to catch one of your games.
You can sign up, play with us if you want sometime. We do proximity chat. It's a very short crew link setup, and you can jump in and play with us.
Awesome.
Cool. It's a good time.
And of course, me. You can find me here on twitch.tv/DeweyBear, and you can find the Twitter at @podcaststeam. And you can, of course, find the... Oh, no, I don't have it up. You can, of course, find the link to our... I gotta open it up now. You can, of course, find the link to our... Oh, no. Wrong location. This is our...
Curator page.
Curator page. I couldn't say curator. I kept, pausing on curator. I couldn't say it.
There it is.
I was like, what? So, what's that word?
Don't forget to click to follow it, since we write up all the reviews that the games that we've spoken about here, and also games from our own personal lists. And if you sign up, maybe you're perusing Steam, maybe it'll pop up and say that, yes, we've actually said something about this game.
Yes, indeed. And... yeah, with that, I'll have this episode up on YouTube soon. So, see you... Wait, that's kind of a weird way to end it up, because I'm saying goodbye to YouTube right now, because you guys aren't going to care that I'm going to upload it soon, because you'll be watching it after it's uploaded on YouTube, of course.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Thank you, everyone. And farewell. Bye-bye.